Welcome back to the last half of How to Knook a Sock. But as promised, here's your last commercial. And I just wanted to flip you through this book really quickly. I won't flip you through the book, but you know what I mean. So that you just can see how it's put together and what it somewhat looks like. So of course there's your regular thank yous and all that. But I just wanted to show you that it's full of pictures. Step by step. Pictures on how to go about making your sock here, turning the heel. You've done all this already. So here's a good picture of what it looks like where you should stop knitting your foot before you start turning, or before you start decreasing the toe area. So stop the foot end where your toes kind of separate, and that gives you a good little space. That is just the right amount that you need as you are decreasing the toe area to finish your sock. So this is a good clue here. More pictures. How to correct mishaps. There's quite some you come across. And the last chapters are just basically informative. Things that I have discovered. Oh, here you go. Baby socks. No, with the baby wool. See? So it's only baby wool, don't use anything else. How to make fingerless mitts, stitch patterns, and then tips to remember, and I did a bit of history as well. So there you go, worth getting. Here we go, let's finish this sock. So I made the length of the foot. This sock is going to fit a lady 7.5, 8, or perhaps a child size 13, or a gentleman with a smaller foot. Just have them try it on. It is still an anklet, and now we need to do the toes. So what you're going to do is fold your sock in half this way, with the heel part facing, and fold this down. Because what you need to do now is find your two corners. And I'm going to hold my work like this. And the other thing you need to do after you fold your sock this way is you should have one stitch that sits here on the corner and one stitch in front that you have not yet crocheted, because you're now going to decrease over 3 stitches. When you did the heel shaping, you decreased with 2. Now you need to go with 3. You probably could do 2 if you have to make a longer toe area for people that have very long toes. I suggest you just decrease by 2s. But for this particular sock, we will do it by 3s, which is faster. You finish your sock quicker, and it works just as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to decrease for the first time. So you're going to continue knooking. So these are my 3 corner stitches. Crochet the first, crochet the middle one, crochet the other one, do yarn over, pull through all 3. Now you're going to continue your knooking as you have been doing. Go to the other corner. Give me a minute. And I will give you some other thoughts too about how you can shape your toe. Let me see how far I have to go. I have to pick up a stray strand there. Okay, I'm not sure where the corner is. I decreased right here. Okay, I have one more stitch to go before I need the next one to make up the 3 for decreasing. So I crochet this one. So these are my next 3 corners, next 3 stitches in the corner. 1, 2, 3, yarn through over the 3rd, pull through all 3. So now you have decreased twice, once on each side, and now you can just keep going around, and each time you get to that decreased area, you repeat decreasing by 3. So I'm going to continue on. With a thicker wool, oops, split it again, it goes very fast, of course, as you have probably already understood. If you're making your sock using thinner wool, don't be dismayed that it seems to take longer than this sock is taking not so long, because it's the thicker wool. I actually did this all in 2 hours, so thick wool makes a pair of socks in half a day, which is exciting. I'm at the next corner. How do I know? Here is my little bulgy end where I decreased before. The stitch sits right on top. You go by the middle stitch. So this last stitch you used is the middle stitch. So you need one in the front, one behind. So crochet this one, the middle one again, and that one. Yarn over and pull through 3. I'm going to transfer my stitches and go to the next side. I have never tried decreasing the toe area but with just 2 stitches. I should really try it. Maybe I'll challenge you to try it. Perhaps once you've made a few pairs of socks and you're comfortable in the whole process. I'm almost there. I need one more. I'm actually going to transfer the whole shebang. And here we go again. 1. Oh dear, here we go. 2, 3, yarn over all 3, and so it goes. I have also decreased going with 5 stitches. That's even faster. This works if you have made your foot end of your toe longer than perhaps needed, or people have different shaped feet, right? And we all know that. Were you to make a pair of socks for somebody whose feet and the toes are almost like this, I suggest you try decreasing by 5. The one thing that will happen with that is that the formation of your decreases here is going to be bigger, which makes bigger gaps between each row of decreasing your stitches, which then in turn means that you need to fix that after you finish crocheting your sock, and you'll have to darn with your darning needle through those little areas to close up those tiny holes. I've done that, nothing bad about it. Here's my first stitch, here's the middle one again. So here, as you can see, it's closing in pretty nicely. I'm not creating any big holes, so hopefully I can just leave that as is by the time I'm finished my socks. But again, here's my third, go through all. If you were to decrease by 5, keep in mind that you will have to, why am I having a problem here? There we go. You may have to just darn those little holes. And that's all it is. If you have a person where the big toe is extremely long, which happens too, there is a way for making the sock end for them, and I've done it before. Okay, let me just get by this decrease here. What you can do is, for instance, let's say this is the sock for a person with a very big toe. I just decreased on this side. Then I would not decrease on this side. I would just knook it as is. Decrease on this end. And then when you get back to the part where you did not decrease the following round. So you would go alternating decrease, not decrease, decrease, not decrease. But on the other side, you do decrease. And what happens with that, say you did that, I haven't decreased it yet. This decreasing would go slower, and this decreasing would go faster, and it shapes your toe a little bit more like that. I hope you can follow what I'm saying. I have to decrease here because the sock for the person here, they have no big long toes at all, so I can keep it all very even. So supposedly I made this for somebody else, I just decreased here. On the next round I would not. So you alternate that. And that's one way of shaping the sock depending on how the toes are for that person you're making the sock for. And you know, a little bit of all this is to play with it. See, I'm back here, and you see this little loop sticking out. I split the yarn there as I was decreasing, so I need to pick that up. I have one more stitch to go. So play around with it a little bit more as you get comfortable making socks, and see what works and try things out. I'm picking it up now. If you do not, let me stitch back here. If you do not pick this up and you think, oh well, forget it, it's all right. You can do that, I've done that. But what happens when your sock is finished, this is going to stick up and it will actually look like you dropped a stitch. So visually it's not pleasing, and who knows, it could also be a catch for something to hook your sock on, right? You don't want that. Okay, my third decrease. So in this sock I'm just going to decrease each and every time and make it a rounded sock. One more here. And if you are a person with a bigger big toe, you know, play with it and do alternate decrease, no decrease, decrease, no decrease. But you only want to do that on one side. The other side, always decrease. Okay? So then this side gets a bit bigger and this one gets a bit it will get lower, and you make a little curved, which I guess in essence then makes you have a sock for your left foot or sock for your right foot. So if you need to make a sock like that, hang on, let me finish this. There, that's another decrease. If you are making a sock for a person with toes like that, make a note or remember really well that if their big toe sits here and you are alternating rows in decreasing, when you make your second sock, you have to do the opposite from what you did here on that side, right? If you do it on both sides of the sock equally, then both socks are the same, but then where the baby toe is going to sit, your sock would be like this, when it should really be on that side. So that is the one main thing you need to remember. And again, connect with me if you need to, on Facebook or on my website. And you know, when this is your way of making socks, it's addicting. Therefore the way socklet. When that came to mind, I thought, oh wow, brainwave. Here we go, another decrease. Oops. So here you can see that the decreases are running in a line. You want it like that, one on top of the other. I have now decreased 5 times, on this side anyway. I went online after I bought my domain name of Socklet, and I thought, I want to know who else has the name Socklet, because mine is socklet.ca, and we had hoped that I would get socklet.com, and we just missed it. So I thought, I'm going to look into this and see who has socklet.com. And it's some sort of company that sells hardware and technology things. And I'm thinking, Socklet for technology and hardware? That doesn't make sense. But so it is. Okay, another decrease. It's going to get harder now to manage your string that you're working off on, because it's getting tighter in here. But that is to be expected, because you're making a little circle here that's harder to manipulate, and it's getting tougher. Another decrease. As you can see, I'm decreasing more often now because we're almost done. There we go. Now I'm going to see how this is going. I'm doing pretty good. It's relatively equal. Sometimes that doesn't happen. You have more stitches on the one side and less stitches on the other side, even though you really made sure you found the middle correctly. So should that happen to you, you can either take it all out and start again and carefully pick up your stitches, or keep going, and then if you have only 6 or 5 stitches left, cast those off all at once. Now here we are. See, it's getting harder now. That's another 3. I will challenge myself to try and make a pair of socks and cast off by 2s. That would give a very long toe. So now I have 3 stitches here. I have 2 stitches there. Here is my middle one. So what I'm going to do, I'll decrease this one because we're in a perfect position for the one here. And as you can see, I even have to use my nail now. There. Oh, come on. Almost like my needle doesn't want to finish. Now I have 2 more stitches left. I'm going to put those on my needle, knook them, all 3, the last 2. You may just have to go like this. And again, that's okay. Now sometimes your stitches are so tight you can get them. Let me take this one out. What I sometimes end up doing, I go like this. I wiggle it a little bit. Stretches the stitch, and then you can get it. I'm going to pull this out. We're free. Yarn over. Yay! Sock is done. Put a yarn over. See, here's the 3. Put a yarn over one more time, and do a single crochet on top. Yeah, good, 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 good. Cut the string and pull. All right. Here you go. Sock. So let me show you what I do with this. I generally use a regular metal darning needle, but this wool is so thick, the eye is almost too small. I'm going to use a big plastic one. I used to let my children sew using a plastic needle like this. Little did I know then that I was going to still use it in my later adulthood. Okay, put your hands in the sock. See how this is nice? I don't see any holes I shouldn't be having. There's the little ones. That's all right. This side is okay too. Take your needle, put it through your sock. Your fingers on the inside can catch the needle. Pull the sock inside out over your hand. Put your hand back in your sock. So this is, you were only knitting, right? Straight stitching. So on the inside of your sock it looks like this, which is the same. It looks like if you were knitting on 2 needles. We need to get rid of this end of the string. I'm just going to pick up from the loop here, and I'm going to skip the next one, skip, next one, skip, next one. You do not want just to snap that string off. Now I'm going back and I'm picking up the stitches next to it, but alternate ones that I skipped earlier. Okay, and you don't want to yank this really tight either. Just leave it nice and loose. I'm going to go one more time. If you do have a hole, say you find this is too big of a hole, you just pick up the stitch above it, pick up the stitch, skip the one beneath it, pick up the next one, and go up and down, up and down. And then the string here will cover the hole, and you're good. There we go. Cut this end off, and this should stay in place. If you don't feel like doing what I just did here, and you think, oh, forget it, snip off your thread, chances are, I would say 99.9% for sure, your string is going to get undone as you wear the sock or as it gets washed, and it will get undone. And then one stitch comes undone, the next stitch comes undone, and before you know it, you've got a run in your sock. And yes, it can be fixed. You could use the piece of the string that came undone, but you can never maze it in like I did over here because it's not long enough. So you don't want that to happen. You would have to almost take a new piece of string, weave it in like I did, then fix the stitch that you dropped, weave it in over there, and then your stitch would be secure. But why do it like that if this is the fastest way and you have to do this anyway? Now we have to finish this string. This is where we started. This is the first stitch you did. This was the last one. They kind of separated. As you can tell, your pattern here of actually 3 knits is wider. So put your string on your needle and maze it through. Bigger needle, harder work. I'm going to turn that around. Maybe pick one up over here and pick up this one. So you close the gap that is there. Yep, that's fine. And now I'm going down. And you do the same. Pick one up, skip one, pick one up, skip one. And this is not going to show, right? Because it's on the inside. Don't pull too hard. Go back up. You can do it just in 2 rows. You can also do it in 3. I'll do it in 3. And then cut off the string. So it's hard to tell now where you cast on or cast off. Here's your sock. And you're done. And here is the other sock. So you got 2 pairs of socks made. Congratulations. I hope this works for you. I wish you all well in your endeavor in nooking socks from the cuff down. And please stay tuned because very soon, if not in the next week, I'm going to be videotaping how to make socks from the toe up. Talk to you then. Bye.